problem.
Who said there are no shortcuts in life?
It wasn't a problem. However, was it the best option when it comes to the composition that came out from DreamMax? And for me, that still kind of leans on a hard no. He wasn't that game. He was still getting some great divine judgments, some great mystic gushes. However, I almost feel like that composition was like that DreamMax was in this like tunnel vision that they were going to get this composition no matter what was picked up on the side of Infinity. And unfortunately, it felt like Infinity, their draft just didn't really complement that type of in the early game. Yes, they were able to find some great divine judgments, some great mystic gushes out there, but unfortunately, as you got a little bit more tankier, as you saw them able to close the distance on Sakiche in that last fight, like this is what we were saying the entire time. Like, how is she going to escape all of these? There's so many people who have engagement tools to be able to close the distance onto her, and that last fight really kind of proved it.
Greatest mag show of all time is banning.
Well, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into this draft now. They went ahead and banned out the chip. Valentina, maybe they're trying to bank for a Sora on the side of Infinity with Valentina being banned out. I know they can't go for that Marcel because he's been taken out. They went ahead and banned out Harley and Freya as well here.
Yeah, but I'm seeing something here that I don't want to believe coming out from Infinity, because DreamMax here has no this pressure, but let's see what is DreamMax is going to ban on this third choice here, and Infinity has to ban Zunshin so far, which didn't appear here. So I think that DreamMax now is like leaving the responsibility on Infinity's shoulder, and they have to be okay. Yeah, because I wouldn't believe that if they leave the Zunshin open at this point of the match, but DreamMax comes with the Boxer here on the first pick on this game number 4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that there's no way that DreamMax is going to ban out the Zushin. They're going to leave that on the side of Infinity, which will leave open the Boxia. And yes, Phoveus is open. For some reason, I feel like Phoveus has kind of been an afterthought today when it comes to a lot of these drafts. And Kai. I mean, I would kind of put money on that going to Fanboy, but I mean, you never know with this, and I do like the opportunity. This is Kai is a good factor when it comes to a lot of these tankier jungles. He can use that heavy spin, pin them against the wall while you're trying to get the retribution. So it does have its uses out there. It's just I feel like he's very he has to be used in a very particular way, just because that heavy spin can really stop a lot of like initiation that you guys have, because it's throwing people everywhere. So you really want to make sure that you're pinning them against the wall. Oh, and with that, 2 members that will be immune to the heavy spin with certain abilities on the side of DreamMax.
This is gonna be a fun one then, for sure. You're saying that they got that immunity to kind of Akai's heavy spin, Boxia with his mobility. They have Guinevere here to possibly get the Eve somehow, since she's like back there, right? She's stationary whenever she... But then she can't be... Can she even be hit? I can't remember.
Yeah.
In her ult, I don't think Eve can be put up into the air, which would stop the Violet Requiem, I believe. I'd have to check on that again. I mean, the big thing too is I didn't even think of that. There's a little bit of combo that you have with Akai. When he does the little dash towards you, he gets a little bit of a pop-up that he puts you under, which would probably help Gwen to be able to get that Violet Requiem out as well. So it's another tool, another engagement tool potentially for the side of Infinity.
Yeah, first of all here, I was wondering like which is gonna win, heavy spin from Akai or the Beyblade coming out from Boxia. And the second thing here is like, how is DreamMax like? Okay, the first two choices here coming out from Infinity is Akai and Carry, and the DreamMax also takes Grok here on that composition. Two tankies on the DreamMax's composition versus Carry, who can melt down here. Even though like they even though they work on a bruiser a situation here, like to get items to get more like HP, but it doesn't matter for Carry, you know, like in a strong late game. So okay, maybe the wombo combo can be very interesting, but still they have to take care about like the gold laner situation here so far.
Yeah, for sure. They still need to pick up that gold laner here on the side of DreamMax. Oh, they're gonna go ahead and pick up that Yuzong, which will kind of help as well with getting into that back line. So what else do they need here for the side? They need their EXP laner on the side of DreamMax, as well as the gold, and then for here we need their mage for Infinity.
I always find some of these picks a little bit curious too. I wonder if Rusi is just more comfortable on Yuzong because Lapu Lapu was still available, and I feel like he's had a much better time when it comes to jumping onto Eve and actually having a threatening amount of damage that can come out there to be able to kind of back off Eve, whereas Yuzong really depends more on the mix of his damage and CC that he can put out there. And it's Damas coming out for the side of DreamMax, which will be very interesting to see. I mean, I guess as soon as the Violet Requiem comes out, Thamus can jump on to be able to kind of try to burst down the Guinevere as well. So a very interesting, very heavy and tanky line coming out from the side of a DreamMax, which will be interesting because we already said we have the carry and now the Lilia outside there, which should have a pretty good time. A very great pick here for the mid lane for Infinity.
Yeah, especially when it comes to this early game situation from for Infinity with this Lilia. I think that for me, like DreamMax is gonna have some kind of struggling here. Especially when it comes to Granger versus this carry on the goal lane, because this is going to be a very interesting matchup here. But when it comes to Granger, it depends so much on the skill shots here from Zeus. And the other thing here that I was about to say and I forgot, and I'm trying to remember, and I really forgot. Oh, I remember. It is Fanboy here with the Guinevere trying to like okay, Guinevere is going to jump, right? So okay, jump on the Blink with the Grok, jump on King on the Baxia, jump on Goo with the Thamus. I think that is gonna take a long time here to get this Requiem Violet and trying to burst, or not burst, you know, or to eliminate someone from DreamMax. So it's a situation that Infinity has to be careful about this game.
Yeah, well, but the problem is that it's not just the Violet Requiem that you're worried about. It's that once they get controlled, Lionel will just spitting out gloom bombs underneath you while this is going on. And then you have the potential of Rusi being able to kind of stack on with a little bit of a pop-up, petrify, things like that, to be able to get some damage out there as well. So I kind of like this because it's something that I've been saying. When you have a Gwen out there, we can't entirely lean on that Violet Requiem. There needs to be some other type of burst damage. I feel like DreamMax measured that out. They understood what was happening here because they banned out the Gourd to make sure that there wasn't going to be that Mystic Gush combination. But here with the Lilia, I almost feel like Lilia is the better option here as well, especially against kind of this slow composition coming out from DreamMax when it comes to like melee heroes here, which is where a Lilia will shine.
Yeah, so well said here, Private. So in a few moments, we are heading for the Land of Dawn to game number 4, DreamMax versus Infinity. Always reminding you guys, that is not the final match of the day. After here, we have Entity 7 versus the winner of this match here. It could be DreamMax, it could be Infinity. So let's go, everybody, because welcome once again to the Land of Dawn. DreamMax versus Infinity here on the lower bracket playoff. But now we are getting back here once again. Beautiful, handsome, pretty here. Yeah. Okay, welcome back.
I know you guys just want to talk more about DreamMax and Infinity before we move on to this, right?
Well, it is a game point for DreamMax still, but this is not a position that we've not been in before, especially today, where we've had teams that were able to kind of get that reverse sweep in. And maybe it's kind of like a mental thing too. Once that armor has been cracked and you realize, oh my God, am I bleeding? Like, I am mortal. Maybe that's something that kind of comes into play here, especially against a team like that Entity 7 was able to get knocked down to the lower bracket. DreamMax had some great games here, but maybe starting to feel that mortality creep in more and more and more. We'll see as this next game goes on, especially with, I feel like there's some decent ability for them to kind of get to that back line. Will Shaikiche still be able to kind of maintain that space and distance that she needs for her team? She's got a heck of a tanky peeling coming from her composition too. So yeah. At the very least, they should be able to keep her safe. My problem is when these people get caught with that Violet Requiem, will that be it? Are we going to be able to answer that when it comes to these team fights?
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation here when it comes to both teams on this game number 4. At least when we're talking about like Lilia's situation here, at least especially in this early game when it comes to DreamMax's composition and against Ivy on the mid lane, against Boxia, for example, or even Grok. But we're talking about like a tanky composition coming out from DreamMax, so maybe in the early game here Lilia has this advantage, but I think that Infinity has to rush this early game here to get some kind of advantage, not only to like neutralize the heroes from DreamMax, like maybe with some late game potential, but also to help carry to get stronger in this late game here to help Infinity to win this game and get things tied up here in this best of 5.
Yes, for sure. If they get to that late, Carrie can shred on all those tanky melee heroes that's on the side of DreamMax and can kind of really help them win the game. Lilia's a great choices for them as well. Those black boots of her is able for her to escape and get her life back and kind of help dish those burst damage down onto him as well. So this one could be anyone's game, depends on how it's played, how they play and how well they do working together. So we'll see.
You brought up the early game, Rico, and now that I think about it, when you're talking about a Grok and an Eve, I feel like they're going to have a pretty dominant early game. You got a good amount of clear that comes from them. They're both going to be able to kind of traverse the map very, very quickly to get to those side lanes. So that's something that Infinity is going to have on their mind. Despite, I want to say, great team fight synergy with this composition, that rotation from them is going to need to be on their mind. As we move into the game, you can see a jump does land on the Shaikiche. Look at the damage already. Shaikiche down to about 20%, 10% now. Lionel thought about going in there and thinks twice.
Yeah, I was talking about like Fanboy jumping on tankies, but I didn't like, I forgot about Shaikiche's here situation that he can jump. Oh, Zeus. First blood.
Off screen, Lionel gets picked off there. Blink might not be long for this world as well. Lionel trying to find the other pieces of the puzzle for that kill, but can not put them together. Meanwhile, Shaikiche alone here in the mid lane as Fanboy diving underneath the tower. Very aggressive early game coming out of Infinity right now.
Yeah, and now we're seeing like Blink with a very low HP, now getting forced to get back on the base. Once again, like Fanboy here with Lionel like causing this pressure on the mid lane. Shaikiche now like cleaning the minion waves here, but with this pressure, Infinity is working like in some high tempo from DreamMax here, especially when it comes to the first turtle with the 10 seconds left to appear on the top side of the river.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting here. I mean, we're talking about the jumps that can come out from Fanboy, but there's a decent amount of targets, but a decent amount of negating ability from the side of DreamMax. Ooh, a little bit of engagement up at top. They're going to try to get onto Rusi, who's able to fend them off. Lionel, Fanboy coming in. Big pop-up does land. Is King in trouble? Gets taken out as Lionel with the finishing touches. Black Dragon is out. That's going to be able to help aid Infinity with the zoning out, and that's going to be a first turtle for the side of Infinity. Down comes the real manipulation. Rusi is able to find himself an escape. Violet Requiem is out. Goo in trouble, diving up against them as ZZ finds the kill onto Goo.
3-0 for Infinity. The gold lead now exactly 2K for them. First turtle. I smell it, Private. I smell it. I smell the game number 5 here.
Oh yeah, I mean, right now, you could not have asked for a better opening. I was just talking about having the early game advantage, but DreamMax, man, getting taken for a ride. 0 kills and 3 deaths on their side. As you take a look at the damage coming out, Lionel, Rusi, and Fanboy at the top of the charts, only met by Shakiche on that eve. Ooh, speaking of which, Zeus takes some damage on the bottom lane as well. Now engagement, Lionel almost gets caught there. Black Shoes right out of harm's way.
Yeah, Black Shoes here plus the flicker, getting Lionel to be survive, to be alive, but Zeus now.
What a great engagement coming out from Infinity. Has the speedy light wheel underneath the tower. Zeus then is met by a pop-up and a Violet Requiem. Fanboy gets out of harm's way before the towers do him in, and then Zabloch able to juggle back that tower aggro and find the kill.
Yeah, but now Rusi here can be 1v2, but King, yeah, like he turned on the turbo, but he didn't go.
Yeah, right here, man. DreamMax having some difficulties, and maybe it's just the momentum coming out from Infinity right now. Have a great opportunity here to be able to turn the tides here. Next, a turtle up, and Infinity has a great positioning on it, and no contention coming out from the side of DreamMax.
Yeah, so we were talking about like this early game, like be in favor for Infinity, but not only that, because when you got this early game like in favor for Infinity, like even getting stronger with Lilia, for example. Oh, here comes. Ooh,
Shakiche being chased down by Fanboy on the backside as the rest of Infinity putting some pressure onto the bottom lane there.
On the top
3
side.
members of DreamMax able to fend off and find this defense. And still 9. Ooh, up at the top. Goo in trouble against Yuzo. Black Dragon is out. I'm not sure if Goo's going to be able to find himself and escape. Ooh, he able to dodge a lot of the damage coming out, but now dealing with the upgraded Black Dragon coming out from Rusi, who now picks himself up a demon hunter, a hunter's strike for his efforts.
Dominating here now. This dragon on the top side from Infinity. 5 kills for them on after 5 minutes on this game so far. Goal lead here, leading for 3K for Infinity. Once again, the top side.
Yeah, Shakiche comes in there to try to aid, but it's just not enough. Rusi is getting very, very strong. And when this next objective happens, I think they need to be worried about that Black Dragon swooping in as well. You see Shakiche doing the best. Ooh, now have a little bit of a fight. You see the damage from the Gloom Bombs coming onto the King there. Big pop-up lands. Zeus gonna look for the disengagement, but is not doing really enough damage. And I'm wondering if this is gonna kind of continue. Zabloch does pick up that golden staff, while up at the top, DreamMax able to find their first tower of the game.
Yeah, but now the situation here, like, it's DreamMax are leading to. Oh, here comes.
Yeah, Violet Requiem is out there. Lands out on the onto Blink. Black Dragon is out. Looking for Shakiche. Can they find it? Q finds a kill onto Lionel. Out comes the real world manipulation. Trying to burst the damage onto Infinity. And they are not able to find another kill just yet. Lionel goes down early in that team fight, but Infinity still able to find a good source onto this next turtle.
Yeah, so you don't want to give kills here for DreamMax, but still it was good for Infinity because they took down the third turtle here. As I was about to talk here, like while DreamMax was leading 2 players on the top side here to not only to neutralize Rusi, but to take down the first tower on the top side. But at least but meanwhile, Zaflax was alone. Oops.
Oh, yeah, and talk about the damage there. That was a Grok. That was their tank. So not just worrying about the Violet Requiem, but the Gloom Bombs coming out from Lionel has been a huge combo for the side of Infinity. Now coming in, Goose gonna have to dive underneath the tower. From the backside, Fanboy finds a pop-up on the 2 members while they're trying to continue. You can see King taking on a lot of this damage. Down comes the real world manipulation. It's going to allow King to find his escape.
Yeah, so maybe now Infinity were too just a little bit deep on the King. King here now was in trouble, but now Goo here is here to protect the jungle from DreamMax. Now we're seeing Rusi versus Goo here. But once again, now Infinity trying to rush this things up, especially on the mid lane, almost like could be worse for them. So they have to be patient. They have to be just a little bit resilient. For DreamMax is here, it's like at least like Shaikichi is have their like her full potential on Ivy here to cause this damage on the mid and late game. So the game is not done yet, but the way Infinity is playing, it's gonna be very difficult for DreamMax.
Yeah, they're just having an amazing game thus far. About a 4K gold lead as you see Lightning Truncheon and Demon Hunter picked up for the side of Infinity. Ooh, pop-up does land. Violet Requiem is out. Fanboy taking a heap of damage as they weren't in a position. A big pop-up lands on the 2 members. Down goes Blink, able to find that kill onto Zablotch with a huge tech charge. Shakiche finds a kill onto Lionel, but Rusi answers back, taking down a double kill here in the form of Blink and Zeus. King able to answer back to Rusi. Heavy spin, pins Goo against the wall. King looking for the damage. Might have bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Shaikiche and King now disengaging back to their jungle. 4-9 right now in favor of Infinity.
Yeah, DreamMax is not over yet. He's not dead yet in this game. Shaikichi, no mana, Shaikichi, you have to get back in the base now. Okay, but now it opens a chance to Infinity trying to get this lore, but DreamMax is heading for. We have a fight back here.
Yeah, but we have full members in the form of Infinity right now. Another tower, I believe that was a blue tower that goes down on the side of DreamMax again. Zizi doing a good job zoning out to Blink from the side check. He finds herself a little bit of an opportunity to try to get in there, but this Lord looks like it might be going over to the side of Infinity. Now comes in a big tech charge, comes out as well. Zizi able to find the retribution. Down comes the real world manipulation. 2-1 down for the side of a DreamMax as we continue on with this fight. Infinity looking for the disengage and now have a Lord at their sides. Conceal play. Fanboy and Zizi. Ooh, almost able to find the knockup, but a great read by the side of a DreamMax to find that out and get out of harm's way. Now they're looking to escort this Lord through the mid lane. It finds itself a tier 2 tower, finds a charge on the bottom lane. Rusi zones out King from his orange buff.
Yeah, so now Lord here is getting melted by on the mid lane, but even though, oops, here comes Fanboy.
Ooh, Fanboy almost in a little bit of trouble. Gonna get chased down by King. That actually might be it as Zeus finds the firepower to be able to bring down the roam of Infinity. Meanwhile, Black Dragon is out, coming for the flank, looking for Shaikiche. Down goes Shaikiche, and that is a huge amount of damage down for the side of a DreamMax. Infinity looking to continue on with the pressure, trying to take down this mid lane.
Yeah, so now here things is just getting just a little bit complicated for DreamMax. Only the high ground towers left for the Dragon Boys. As we're seeing here, the items Hunter Strike, Sky Pierce, and the Malefic Roll for a Granger. Meanwhile, carry here, Corrosion Sight, Golden Staff, Demon Hunter, Malefic Gun, Infinity Glaive for Lilia now, another like glowing wand. To Infinity here like with the gold lead heading almost to 780k. My goodness, I think that for DreamMax to reverse that situation here, I think that Infinity has to make some mistakes, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and especially the one thing though, I mean, you have a Sky Piercer on Granger as your second item, and you're sitting at 1 and 2 right now. And I feel like another item probably would have done a little bit better, especially because you're about 2k behind Zabloch right now. So you're not exactly having the great game. Even Shaikiche, Queen of the Sky Piercer early mid laner, hasn't gone with Sky Piercer this game because I feel like she's not confident in her ability to really get the stacks that she wants onto it right now. 5 and 11 right now, a game firmly a 6k gold lead for the side of Infinity.
Yeah, so it's like you're watching a fanboy like just getting like just kidding and joking on the recall effect. One more item here on Shaikichi, so DreamMax has this hope here on the mid lane's hand, but it's not that easy because Infinity is playing very good, especially on this blocking fight, especially together with Leonel, Rosie, with Yusong here. Another Lord immediately started by Infinity, but here comes DreamMax.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much contention coming in here. They do have it down to about 30%. Black Dragon is out to try to zone out the rest of a DreamMax. Now coming in, ZZ still with the heavy spin, able to zone out the rest of DreamMax from being able to get that Retribution. King taking a lot of damage. Out comes the real world manipulation. Zabloch, it gets nailed down as a 3-man pop-up from that Tectonic Charge comes out. Fanboy answers back again on the backside. Lionel takes out King. Shaikiche able to answer back to Lionel, but that is 2 down for the side of DreamMax. Conceal play is out. Zeus might be in trouble here. Gets it caught, but is able to find the disengage as Goo is right there to provide some suppressive fire for his teammate.
2 players down from both teams, but the Lord is from Infinity, and he is heading on the mid lane. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, Black Dragon is out, not trying to go underneath the tower. Goo with the Cauterant Inferno, trying to keep up the damage and the healing coming out. Heavy spin comes out from ZZ to knock back the rest of DreamMax, but Infinity is going to have to disengage from this mid tower push.
Yeah, so the mid laner tower here, the high grounded, is still standing with a half of HP, but is still standing for the DreamMax. No super minion from Infinity, and they decide to head back. Almost 15 minutes here on this game number 4. Goal lead heading for a 5k for Infinity, but DreamMax, it's like alive, more alive than ever. So the game is not done yet.
Yeah, just under a 5k gold lead for the side of Infinity right now. And unfortunately for DreamMax, I feel like some of these picks right now just are not earning their way just yet. Goo on the Thomas, I don't really feel like we've been making use of that. Zeus still has yet to really kind of get to a point where that zoning or the firepower that he can have is scaring or pushing back Infinity as we take a look at some of these items.
Yeah, on the jungler here.
Yeah, Fanboy gets caught even with the conceal play. Cauterant Inferno is able to find 2 members with that knockup as well as the Violet Requiem coming out. Big Petrify lands. Zabloch able to find a kill. 3 down for the side of a DreamMax. Infinity here with a great fight out there, starting with the conceal play, and then even though he gets caught, Fanboy able to find the pop-up on the 2 members and a Violet Requiem backed up by the damage of Zabloch and a Lionel. Tries to go back in there. It's just Zeus alone. Infinity will not go quietly into the night. They say they want to take this to a game 5.
Oh yes. Oh, where are the minion waves here? Another one here. Just a simple car on the bottom lane, and now here it comes. Infinity gets everything tied up, leading to the game number 5. Xena.
Oh man. It seems like Infinity found their groove here. They are taking us to this game 5. They snowballed that entire match, and they just seem like they found that recipe to kind of beat DreamMax here. So they always did take us to a game 5, these two teams. So I didn't expect anything less.
Oh man, a great put together there coming out from Infinity there. I mean, I've been talking about it too. These kind of compositions that kind of go outside the meta, they just are so favorable for them. Here, though, I want to say on the side of DreamMax, some picks maybe not doing as well as others, as Zeus really struggled on this Granger as well. Not only very late and having to get a Sky Piercer, but also getting a Sea Halberd on his team as well, which, I mean, I feel like you're already nerfing this pick so much when you're taking away that much of his damage as well out there. So, but man, Infinity, a great execution of this composition as well. Fanboy did an excellent job going in, being able to find these great jumps, and then Lionel getting himself into position with a lot of those gloom bombs to make sure that he would be able to kind of finish the job while the enemies were in that Violent Requiem.
Yeah, I was just about to say like about Fanboy's performance here, because when it comes to Guinevere, we used to say that to help Guinevere and the jump here and the combo with the Requiem Violet, sometimes she needs some assistance, like it could be some kind of a CC, it could be the penalty zone from Terizla, for example, or the tectonic charge from Grok, to help Guinevere to allow this jump to cause damage and the CC with the Requiem Violet. But it didn't happen here for Infinity, because Fanboy was like alone, even though we got the Havoc spin coming out from ZZ. But you see, Fanboy, it was just like right jumps, like a certain hit in the target. It was like very, very good and very clean for Fanboy here to secure the victory for Infinity so far. But not only that, I told you guys, I simply don't get it when you see and when you have carry in another composition and you still decide to get tankies to your composition, you know. Okay, the tankies have CC. Okay, the tankies have some kind of control, some kind of slowdown or help on the execution in that situation. But still, it's a carry, a goal in, and on the meta, we used to see carry a lot of the times, you know. Once again here, one more jump coming out from Fanboy to help Infinity to get the kills enough to get this victory. So when you get carry, so when you let carry open in those situations and you bring a tankies, it might not be a good idea. Sorry.
Yes, and here we go. The confidence, the aggression, the execution. Our MVP here is Rusi on the Yuzong, 716 KDA, 56.9k total damage, 670 golds per minute. Everything clicked perfectly for this MVP performance.
I want to say I was kind of worried when I first saw the pick, because I feel like Lapu does such a great job of getting to an Eve and being able to really threaten her out with the damage that he can do. But man, Rusi really proved me wrong. It wasn't just his ability to kind of get onto the mid lane. He had a great game in the XP lane as well, was doing a great job of dominating Goo, making sure that he wasn't a factor. And man, just was coming from all different angles, even able to catch out Shaikiche by surprise. You saw from the completely opposite side of the map, caught a great flank onto the side of DreamMax, and that actually surprised Shaikiche. You see here, able to find Shaikiche again with that Black Dragon.